Over the last 10 years, I've learned quite a bit about being a work-at-home professional. And so here are my top 5 tips for working at home. My first tip is to get off the couch. And when I say get off the couch, I mean literally don't sit on the couch when you're working at home. You need to have an office space for a number of reasons. One, to separate your work from your normal life. 2, because sitting on a couch all day is not good for your health. You will end up hurting yourself. It's not good for your posture. It's not good for your back. It's not good for your wrists. It's not good for your brain. I think there's plenty of people that kind of imagine someone working at home sitting on the couch with their laptop. And the truth is that if you just have a laptop and you're sitting on the couch, you're probably not getting a whole lot done. And I get it. Not everyone has enough space in their house for a dedicated office that is an actual room. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a space. My second tip for working at home is making sure that you always have the best audio. And I don't mean that you need to go out and get yourself a really expensive microphone like I have here. This isn't even what I use for my day-to-day job. Occasionally, when I'm sitting at my desk, we'll use it for a meeting or two. But most of the time, I'm wearing a headset. And a headset with a good microphone and a good set of speakers will go a long way. People don't take you seriously if you don't sound good. It's probably not making the right impression on your coworkers or your clients. So make sure that you get good audio. I'm going to put a few links in the description for some of the things that I have used in the past and what I use now. One of them is the over-the-ear style Bluetooth headset that has a reasonable microphone and it'll do the job. My personal preference is a headset. I use the Plantronics Savvy. The audio quality is great. It's not Bluetooth, which means I can wander around my house while I'm talking without losing signal. And finally, it has a physical mute button on the side of the ear, which allows me to hit the mute button in that moment when my dogs decide to lose their mind and run to the front door. But no matter what choice you make for audio, just make sure that you're making a choice. Just talking into your laptop microphone is not going to cut it when it comes to professional audio. My third tip for working at home is setting boundaries for time and space. This is somewhat related to the first one about getting off the couch, but it's a little bit different. When you're working, and when you're not, you're not. If it's possible in the space that you have, you should definitely have an office space where you go and sit down and work. And then when you're done working, you can turn off your computer and you can walk out of the office and you can shut the door and you can know that you're done. Don't try to mesh the two together. Don't let yourself drift back into your office after dinner and continue in that pile of email that you have or continue working on the coding tasks that you have, just thinking that you're going to get a little bit further ahead for the next day. If you don't give yourself the space to say, I'm done working, then, well, you're just never done working. My fourth tip is get a good chair. I know that seems pretty simple, and honestly, this one's a pretty short one. But the truth is that you spend a lot of time sitting on your butt in a chair when you're working. And if you think that you're just going to run out to the office store and buy the cheapest thing in the store, you're going to regret that. Chair problems lead to other problems. The truth is eventually it's going to hurt your back, and it's going to hurt your shoulders, and it's going to hurt your wrists and your hands and your fingers and everything else if your chair is not comfortable and adjustable. I would recommend going out and getting the absolute best chair you can put your hands on. It'll last forever, and it will do you a world of good. My personal chair, which I'll put a link in the description, is the kind of chair that's got a mesh back and a mesh bottom. It doesn't have the foam kind of filling. In my personal experience over all these years, this chair has lasted me the longest, and the quality of it doesn't degrade. It doesn't get soft, it doesn't break down, and honestly, it's one of the best office purchases I've ever made. Another option in the chair space, of course, is to get a standing desk. If you prefer to stand, obviously standing while working is great for your health. But I think at the end of the day, you probably need both, even if you have a standing desk. There are certain tasks that absolutely just require that you sit down. And if you don't have a good chair, you're going to regret it. And my fifth and final tip for working at home is to over communicate. A lot of people miss this one when they start working at home. It's so easy to sit down at your computer every day and just do your job. As a matter of fact, some people see it as a benefit that you can, when working at home, have less people bother you. If you're working at home and a majority of your coworkers are not, the only way that you're going to stand out and people are going to know that you exist and know to talk to you at the right moment is if you over communicate. What I mean by over communicate is have the meetings that you need regularly. If necessary, repeat yourself multiple times in order to get your point across. Send emails as if you were talking to a coworker on the other side of the cube. Finally, use that great audio that you have to verbally communicate in a way that is impactful. It's easy when working at home to be the employee that gets forgotten when it comes time to make decisions. You really need to position yourself as an important part of the team, even though you're not physically in the office with the others who may be there contributing on a day-to-day basis. So those are my top 5 tips, and I hope you got something out of it. If you have something to add or a tip that you think I may have missed, leave it in the comments below. It's really helpful to share when you're working at home.